What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? I'm back at it again. I'm gonna try some new stuff today. I know you don't rarely see me with my headphones on, but want to make sure we can take these calls that we got coming in. So come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Play this a little bit. Yeah, vibe out. I'm live now. Y'all show up, show out like you always do. Shout out to my Facebook, Instagram. Actually, no Instagram. Facebook and YouTube friends. What's happening? Y'all let me know what y'all doing in these comment sections right now. Y'all like that? Had a good week. Had a good week. I had a very good week. And I'm ready to continue to have good weeks. And I'm ready for the bad weeks. I'm ready for everything that's in between. And I'm ready for what's going to happen when it's time to call for football season. My 49ers are going to do amazing things. If you're not a 49ers fan, I'm sorry. Whoever fan you are, I know they lied to you. I know they lied to you. But anyway, come on in. Come on in. Here's what it is. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm going to keep it simple, short and sweet. I really want to get into some stuff, but I don't know if I want to keep it political or non-political. I don't know if we want to just, I don't know. We should just go in, because that's what I normally do. I just go in. I don't have no filters. I don't have no whatever. I just go in. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just go in. I'm just going. Let me get myself together right quick. Y'all keep vibing out. Got a new phone number to call for the show. Once you call that number, it's gonna be amazing. You get to call in and talk, okay? And you can make that call, and you can, you can do what you need to do. You call into the show. Got a new phone number to call. Let's hit you with some old school right quick. You hear it. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Thank you for tuning in again. Welcome to Smoke Drink Vibe. I am your host, Jay Hughes, life coach Jay Hughes. Of course, I'm about to smoke. Right now, I have a Sencilio. Yeah, Sencilio. Great tag. A good 2023, so last year's model. Still learning my cigars, so I pronounced it wrong. Please forgive me. All right, but I know what I like when I see the label. TikTok is on fire, guys. TikTok is on fire, as it always is. As every other social media platform, TikTok is on fire. And the reason TikTok is on fire is because a lot of things have happened. Joe Biden just got up out the race. Kamala Harris is the new ticket, new hotness. First black woman president, don't know. She claims she's black. Some people say she don't claim she's black. Some people say a lot of things. It's real hot right now. Social media is a buzz. But you got that, and then you got the shooting death of another innocent young black woman at the hands of the police. Nothing new. Definitely sad, but nothing new. Okay? Then you got the still continuing situation and disconnect between men and women when it comes to the dating scene. That's what we're going to talk about a little bit. got some videos I want to post up and just share with you guys. And I want to see if, no, I don't want to see. I want to see what you guys, what's your reaction to it? Some hot button topics, some hot button situations. Just want to see what's your reaction to some of the stuff that I'm going to share with you guys today from TikTok, only TikTok. If you're on TikTok, follow me at Year of the Dog. Okay, Year of the Dog. You see a picture of my beautiful gray pit up there, Angel. Year of the Dog, TikTok. Follow me at Year of the Dog if you're not already following me already. Let's get these numbers up. So, a lot of stuff going on. I got a number so you can call in. It's a different number than what you used to. Had to improvise a little bit, but we're making it work and always improving the show. Thank you to all the subscribers on YouTube. I think we're almost up to 150. 150 authentic subscribers. Okay? That says a lot. But let's get into it. TikTok edition. I want to present to you this situation. Let me hold on. Let me take this off repeat. I know we jamming, but because he'll have you jamming all night. I ain't gonna do that. All right. So let me get you to this screen. I'll share my screen. And sorry, I don't have this stuff pre. We're doing it. Okay. I got a lot of good videos saved. Okay. And there's a couple good stuff that really caught my eye. Okay. Caught my mind. And it has to deal with dating and relationships. Okay. Dating and relationships. And so we're going to check out some of this stuff that I came across. Okay. All right. I want to see what you guys think. I want to see what's your opinion. You see the number at the bottom. Call into the show. Let me know what you think. Okay. This is current. Let's see if we can get into it. Let me see.
Here's an awful fact for some of you fucking kids who grew up fatherless. Mm-hmm. Some of y'all grew up fatherless because your mother was trying to prove a fucking point. These the main bitches that want to be privy to everything but tell you absolutely nothing. It's the bitches that always send a text with my child. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So the R. Everything is mine. And you bitches is nothing but a bunch of control freaks and manipulators. You're never inclusive when you make fucking decisions. So that's how niggas know that you really want to do this by yourself. He have just as much say when it comes down to birthdays and graduations and party planning and special occasions and sports events. You ain't the only one who gotta have the fucking final say. It's not about you. It's not about what you want to spend. It's not about where you want to have it at. It's not about what you want the child to wear. It's not about the image that you want to put out there. It's about a team. The only time you want a nigga to come get involved is when you want him to come clean up the mess you created. That's the only time a nigga worthy or deemed worthy to be a fucking father, be a parent. And the only reason why you bitches do that, the only reason why you bitches reach out after many years of withholding the child from the father, because the child's behavior is starting to make you look bad. Y'all bitches want to throw around motherfucking narcissistic all day. Let's talk about that. See, it's hip to you motherfucking bitches. They know why y'all do half the shit that y'all do anyway. This is all about winning for you bitches. This is all about competition. Because y'all too quick to bring it. Y'all too quick to want to bring the fucking bullshit. That's why niggas already know ain't go. It's never been an even playing field. You always had leverage. That's why you bitches exercise it as soon as you get a motherfucking baby out of a nigga. When I'm so fucked up.
Wait, hold on, let's track Brave real quick. I'm having a hard time even saying anything about this because she's just hitting all of the points. Who?
She went off. She went off. You know what? We just had some people come in the room. Let me know if you heard any of that audio. Okay. Shout out Nikki M. Hey. What up, Nikki? Thank you for tuning in. I want to know if you heard any of that audio. If not, I'm going to replay it again. No problem. It's very important. I want you to get it. However, she's talking about fatherless children. from toxic mothers. And I know that doesn't apply to everybody, right? But we're not going to sit here and act like it hasn't been going on for years, okay? And some of these mothers out here, we talk about toxic masculinity, but we need to talk about toxic femininity, okay? I want to play it again. Did you guys hear that? Let me play it again. Let me run that back. Let me run that back right quick.
Here's an awful fact for some of you fucking kids who grew up fatherless. Some of y'all grew up fatherless because your mother was trying to prove a fucking point. These the main bitches that want to be privy to everything but tell you absolutely nothing. These the bitches that always send a text with my child.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Instead of our.
Everything is mine. And you bitches is nothing but a bunch of control freaks and manipulators. You're never inclusive when you make fucking decisions. So that's how niggas know that you really want to do this by yourself. He have just as much say when it comes down to birthdays and graduations and party planning and special occasions and sports events. You ain't the only one who gotta have the fucking final say. It's not about you. It's not about what you want to spend. It's not about where you want to have it at. It's not about what you want the child to wear. It's not about the image that you want to put out there. It's about a team. The only time you want a nigga to come get involved is when you want him to come clean up the mess you created. That's the only time a nigga worthy or deemed worthy to be a fucking father, be a parent. And the only reason why you bitches do that, the only reason why you bitches reach out after many years of withholding the child from the father, because the child's behavior is starting to make you look bad. Y'all bitches want to throw around motherfucking narcissistic all day. Let's talk about that. See, niggas hip to you motherfucking bitches. They know why y'all do half the shit that y'all do anyway. This is all about winning for you bitches. This is all about competition. Because y'all too quick to bring it. Y'all too quick to want to bring the fucking bullshit. That's why niggas already know at go. It's never been an even playing field. You always had leverage. That's why you bitches exercise it as soon as you get a motherfucking baby out of a nigga. When I'm so fucked up.
Wait, hold on, let the track breathe real.
She was cooking. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Do we think that toxic femininity exists? We had some people in the room, so people got offended and they left, and that's good, because if you're offended about having a real conversation, you don't need to have a conversation at all. But what do we think? Nikki says she was absolutely right. Toxic femininity exists. There are women out here still having babies intentionally just for a child support check. Now, I'm not going to sit here and just blame women. This is not a women bashing session. This is a reality check. And the reality check is, as far as being reckless with your body, men have been reckless by going into reckless women and having babies by them and then wondering why child support is calling them, wondering why they can't see their kids, wondering why they use the courts for leverage. There are women out there that do that. But we got to call a thing a thing. Okay? Oh, that cognac's good. There's some good cognac right there. You might want to check that out. But we got to call a thing a thing. And there are women out there who are abusing the system and using their kids as leverage. I'm sorry, but it's happening. Toxic femininity exists. And a lot of women who don't subscribe to the toxic femininity try to check their sisters. Hey, sis, don't do that. Hey, sis, don't act like that. Hey, sis, don't be that way. And now all of a sudden, these toxic women say stuff that just go above and beyond just a simple disagreement of what that person is saying. Toxic femininity exists. It exists because toxic masculinity exists. One bleeds into the other, and then you have what you have on both sides of the aisle. It's funny because we're quick to talk about toxic masculinity, but we don't say too much about toxic femininity. Why is that? Why do you think that is? Women could do no wrong? All men are just trash and deserve everything that's been happening? Why do you think we don't talk about toxic femininity as much as we talk about toxic masculinity, as if women for decades have not been toxic? This is a legit question. Does toxic masculinity exist? Yeah. Abusive, mental, spiritual, physical, emotional. If it's not helping you, it's hurting you, right? Toxic masculinity does exist. They're using their masculinity to exert dominance in the wrong way because their masculinity is being used the wrong way. Therefore, it's toxic. What about toxic femininity? Women who go into the courtrooms, women who lie, say this is your baby, knowing good and goddamn well that ain't your baby. Oh, we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about it today. Because what we seem to not want to talk about is how sometimes women are more of the problem than society will allow them to be. See, a society who does not allow you to be the problem until recently. Until recently, women have not had to face accountability for the damage they have caused, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and sometimes physically. There's always been an excuse, right? There's always been an excuse. And the double standard is the excuses that they use, they know men cannot use the same excuse, right? So what is it? What is it? Why is it that we don't talk about toxic masculinity toxic femininity as much as we talk about toxic masculinity? Jameson said, let's talk about toxic femininity. Real talk, the shit is real. Yes, it's real. Toxic femininity is real. Toxic masculinity is real. I'm not going to sugarcoat to where it's just one side of the coin. It's both sides of the coin. However, we're not talking about toxic masculinity as much as we're talking about, we're not talking about toxic femininity as much as we're talking about toxic masculinity. The fact that we don't talk about toxic femininity as much as toxic masculinity should be more alarming to you than regular. It should be more alarming to you. Okay? Call into the show. Let me know what you think. Have you experienced toxic femininity? Or have you experienced toxic masculinity? Have you seen toxic femininity that happened with no repercussions? Have you experienced that? Where Nikki said she saw it all the time. Was there any repercussions behind that? Did anything happen to that person who was exhibiting toxic femininity? Was there any hard consequences to their toxic femininity? It's probably not. It's probably not. Because most of the time, toxic femininity goes unpunished. These are facts. Toxic femininity, especially when it involves children, when it involves behavior that cause people damage, emotional damage, mental and physical damage to their lives and or reputation, toxic femininity goes unchecked. It goes unchecked. You ruin a man's reputation. You lie on him. You lie and say that's his baby when it's really not. He's been paying child support for years. He doesn't get none of that money back. He has to sue her for that money. And in some states, the states say, it don't matter. You should have known that before you started paying child support. She doesn't go to jail. She doesn't have any pushback for the damage she's done, the lies she's perpetuated. Oh, but when men do it, the accountability police come out the woodworks. The accountability police, when toxic masculinity wears its head, comes out the woodworks. But when toxic femininity is alive and well, everybody quiet like church mouse. Ain't nobody got nothing to say. Ain't nobody want to check what just happened. Because we have been conditioned socially to allow toxic femininity to flourish. And the reason we've been socially conditioned to do that is because of toxic masculinity. Yeah, for every yin, there's a yang. For every reaction, there's an opposite and equal reaction. See, when toxic masculinity was going, there were certain periods and times where it just did not go unchecked. Right? Didn't go unchecked. For instance, the voting, women's voting rights. The suppression of the women's vote, where one vote per man in a married household counted for the whole household. That was a thing. Women in the household said, I have a voice, and I don't believe that even though he's my husband, that he speaks for me. The powers that be saw their way in, and they enacted the back door of the women's vote. The women got the right to vote. That was when toxic masculinity went unchecked. And there are numerous other times that toxic masculinity went unchecked because it has advanced the rights of women in this country. But toxic femininity, shit. Unchecked? Yeah. You can't even correct most women nowadays. You can't even correct them in a way that says, you know what, you're wrong. The way you're thinking is wrong. The way you go about it is wrong. This fantasy you live in is wrong. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. But as soon as you do, you check a woman, you're wrong. All of a sudden, you're misogynistic. You're this, you're that. When other women check other women, oh, they go for the jugular. I'll hope you die. I'll hope you get canceled. I'll dox your house. How dare you go against us and you're a woman and we're supposed to be. Yeah, ask the women who check these other women what happened to them when they do it live on social media. And this only happens in America. Ask the women that check and disagree with other women and go against the status quo of man bashing. Ask them what happens to them in their comments. Most of them are hateful comments left by other women. I want to play something else. Let me go here with it.
A female narcissist is also a hypocrite. Let me tell you how. She doesn't like being lied to, but she's going to lie to other people. She doesn't like people who steal, but she will steal from others. She doesn't like her heart being broken, but she wouldn't think twice when she breaks someone else's heart. She doesn't like being cheated on, but she will cheat on you. She doesn't like being used or taken advantage of, but trust and believe, she'll do it to you. She'll bring down others who mention their strengths or their abilities, but she never hesitates to brag about herself. She doesn't like when anyone else gets close to her partner, but she will flirt and interact with other people that make her partner uncomfortable. She doesn't like being criticized for her behaviors, but she will accuse you and belittle you for things that she perceives you doing. Her ego and her complex will be her doom, though. Trust and believe, she will get caught in her lies. A female narcissist is also...
What do we think? Women are quick to say, he was a narcissist. He was a narcissist. Just a little bit too absorbed with himself. But you tell a woman that she's a narcissist and she clutches her pearls. I can't believe you called me a narcissist. How dare you call me a narcissist? You know, a lot of women don't even know what that means when they use it in the context that they use it. For some part, men don't know what it means either. Self-absorbed, manipulating, only concerned about self. Gaslighting, all of that is a part of narcissism. Women gaslight just like men. Women lie just like men. Women emotionally, mentally, and physically abuse just like men. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. Why do we not talk about it? We don't talk about it because we're socialized not to until recently. We're socialized not to talk about toxic femininity because we, as a society in this country, have allowed and continue to perpetuate the Disney fairy tale to women. You can have it all. You don't need a man. Get your bag. Have a baby later. Don't worry about that thing called the biological clock. You got all the time in the world as long as your ovaries are producing eggs. Freeze them. Whatever. Just get in the workforce and get that bag. Don't you want equality? Don't you want the pay gap to shrink? You don't need a family. If you're not thinking really close, this country went from pushing family, nuclear family, mother, father, kids, house, job, that's it, till you kick the bucket. Now they're pushing sexuality and individuality, but only to women. They're not telling men, go get the bag. Get a vasectomy. Don't worry about kids. As long as your dick still works, you can have them. Freeze your sperm. Focus on the bag. Don't you want more money? America is not projecting that image. They're not projecting that message. But to women, they're projecting the message of individuality, hypersexuality, and money over family, career over family. And some women are starting to realize that you have been lied to. You have been lied to. You've been lied to, ladies. You can't have it all. Everything's not sunshine and rainbows. Prince Charming doesn't pull up on a white horse to come get you. And some things matter to men who have different values and standards that you just can't bypass. Just like some things matter to women who have standards that men can't bypass. Right? Bro, that's exactly what happened to me. She cheated on me, but yet can flirt with someone else. Nah, bro. I get it. Shout out to Jameson Davis. I know him very well. Good photographer out of Houston. Did my wedding photos. You know, solid guy. He has a point. Not going to say how I know he has a point, but he has a point. He does. Just because the goal is to emasculate men so these prostitutions of power can be easily controlled in community, or positions of power can be easily controlled in a community. So you're saying that the goal is to emasculate the men so the positions of power can be easily controlled in a community. I'm sorry, but you are absolutely correct. You're correct. In order for you to conquer a society, you have to get the men out of the way. Art of War 101. The emasculation of men of any ethical race within this country is to get you out of the way so when they screw you over, you cannot protect your family and you will not rebel. Kat says, I believe that you can have it all, just can't have it all at one time. Truth is, women have not always known what we wanted. It was projected on us what we should aspire to want, wife, and mother. Yeah, you were socialized, right? Now, here's this. How is it that you were socialized not 30 years ago, let's say 50 years ago? You were to be a wife, have a career, and have kids and settle down. Now you're socialized with these babies that's growing up. Now you're socialized to be independent, hypersexuality, and get the bag. Nothing dealing with family values, nothing with dealing with being a wife, nothing with dealing but how to deal with a man. The only thing it's dealing with is hypersexuality, do what you want, get the bag, fuck these kids and these men. How did the message change? You think that was not on purpose? I'll give you a hint. Do you think Roe v. Wade was overturned because they actually care about black people babies? Colored people babies? Any minority group in this country, do you think Roe v. Wade was overturned because they care about your babies? I'm going to go surface level and let you know that the answer is a strong no. Strong no. Okay. Kat continues by saying the dynamics of what is valuable or important now have changed depending on what the economic push or agenda is. Women took independence and glamorized it to the extent of not needing a partnership. And that's why they're failing. That's why they're failing. It's like what black folk used to say about being white and or dealing with white folk and begging for acceptance. You're happy because they gave you a little crumbs. If you could have it all, why didn't they push family, and husband along with career at the same time. They didn't. They substituted family and husband with hypersexuality and individualism. They told you could have it all just on one side of the coin. You can have it all if you're not focused on family, being a wife, other goals that continue the legacy of who you are. These guys are playing chess, not checkers. The reason people like Rothschilds and other wealthy families exist is because they continue their legacy on down the line. Their name lives on down the line. Because of low birth rates in this country, a lot of people's legacies is ending. That family tree don't go as deep as you think it should. All right? Let me play another one. I want to play this one because I think this one has a little meaning.
But absolutely, a man can come in and crave that safety and don't get it. We talked about this yesterday on a pod. A person can come in and build a wall because they have to safeguard themselves because they don't feel safe in the space. A woman can interrupt you when you don't feel safe. A woman can be distracted when you're trying to talk to her and they don't feel safe. You could be interrupting a man and he doesn't feel safe. When he's coming to you in a vulnerable moment and you shun him, he cannot feel safe, which makes him safeguard subconsciously. And that comes from memories and past experiences and things like that. So yes, it could have been something, darling, that you did do in a marriage that was messed up. I'm married and I can tell you right now, if I didn't listen to my husband when he came to me, if I looked down upon what he was saying to me when he was trying to make a decision, if I felt like I was better than him and I minimized him, he's going to naturally safeguard. It's not necessarily turned just against you. He just doesn't feel safe, and you can remind him of a space where he didn't feel safe before and it shows up. So we can't always say that this person was always this way. No, I can tell y'all at a countless couples that I have worked with, that person at the beginning was the most vulnerable person until that person showed them they were not safe and secure in that relationship. And they put their safeguard on against the very person that they hoped was going to make them feel safe. So it's absolutely possible for that to happen.
What are your thoughts? I see I lost some people. That's cool. A lot of people don't want to hear the message. That's cool. Again, I'm posing the question and challenging the theory of why toxic femininity is not looked upon like toxic masculinity and how toxic femininity shows up in relationships. These are panels that they're talking about. Don't get mad at me. I'm just showing you it's on TikTok. Men are speaking out. They are tired. They're tired of the narrative that it's only them. And it's not some of you toxic women that are out here running around pretending to be angels, but are really devils in disguise. Just like y'all was tired of these toxic men that keep running around pretending to be husbands when they're devils in disguise. See, it goes both ways. And I'm going to call it both ways because that's how it's supposed to be. But right now, what I'm trying to get you to think about, and I'm trying to challenge you and to think is, why is it that in this country, toxic femininity is not discussed at the level that toxic masculinity is, when there is countless of stories of toxic femininity at play, and it goes unchecked because there is no real consequence to toxic femininity. Last time a woman went to jail because she lied on a paternity test about a man being the father of a child was when? When? I challenge you on Google to look it up. When? As a matter of fact, there have been cases where men have had to still pay for child support on children that were not biologically theirs, that was proven through DNA tests. You think women don't know that? You think women haven't used the courts and stuff to their advantage? Kat says, women have been toxic. We learn from the best. The person who put us through the trauma is also the teacher of the habit. Old folks say you lay with the dog, you get up with fleas. Now you have toxic ways. Yeah. I've said that at the beginning. Toxic femininity only exists because toxic masculinity existed first. Yeah. Toxic masculinity gave birth to toxic femininity. The only difference is because of the double standards, toxic femininity can be looked upon as more dangerous for modern men than toxic femininity, and toxic masculinity can be looked at for modern women. There are more laws protecting women than there are laws protecting men. There are more courts, in the woman's eyes, still leaning towards women than courts that lean towards men, especially when it comes to parental supervision or custody of children. These are facts. And I'm going to go as far as to say, if we were to get rid of toxic masculinity, toxic femininity would still exist simply because of hypersexualized independence. Again, don't shoot the messenger. Don't get mad at me. I'm not bashing women. I'm simply saying that it's just so funny how we're able to focus on toxic masculinity and nobody bats an eye when toxic femininity exists. Whether you learned it from toxic masculinity or not, it still exists. And we don't talk about it enough because there's no repercussions. There's no repercussions. Let me do another one.
Narcissistic women are extremely skillful. They are skillful at the art of manipulation. A narcissistic woman will put you through the cycle of abuse. Idolize, devalue, discard. Narcissistic women are especially callous. They have no regard for children or the elderly. A narcissistic woman will cry instantly to manipulate you into believing she is a victim. Narcissistic women do not take accountability. Underneath the charm and what appears to be confidence, which is really grandiosity, a narcissistic woman is very insecure. She will use anyone around her for narcissistic supply. Narcissistic women.
What are we thinking? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? It does, and we don't talk about it because we don't like accountability. Why do women not like accountability? That's an honest question. Why is it that women do not, in this country, why do women, for the most part, not like accountability? Because the need to be right supersedes the need to be in alignment with progress. You'd rather be right than make progress. I gotta be right. I gotta be right as a woman because my need to be right supersedes the need to have progress. Supersedes the need to have progress. If the end goal, which is my end goal and my wife's end goal, our end goal is to build back couples, relationships in every ethnic group that we come across, especially in the Black community. But what we find is that the Black woman and or the modern woman in this country has a innate ability to rationalize the need to be right over the need for progress. This is what we come across in our practice. And I say practice because, yes, I am a certified life coach. Yes, I am in school, not too far away from getting my degree in social work so I could become a male therapist. Wife has already been a therapist for over 20 years. This is what we do. We see a lot of broken women who actually are toxic. And then when they realize they're toxic and they come to the realization that they can't hide their toxic femininity, they still try to reserve the right to be right and justify their toxic behavior because they don't like accountability. Oh, but when a man doesn't accept accountability, when a man is exhibiting toxic masculinity and he's up here just doing all kinds of messed up stuff to women, being irresponsible sexually, being irresponsible emotionally, displaying narcissism, all the above, women are quick to call it out. Quick to be like, there you go, right there, there you go, right there. And then you be like, what about toxic femininity? And they be like, shit, you know, I had to do what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't do what he did, I would have did what I did. Always an excuse instead of just owning up and taking accountability. I've always said in conversations with other people, and I'll say it right now, the day that women start taking accountability in this country is the day they begin to heal relationships. The day that women start taking accountability for their toxic femininity and their toxic behavior and their toxic traits in this country is the day relationships start to heal. To put it so plainly, when that apology from women has as much base as that accusation from women, then relationships will start to heal. Mark my words. If there was a campaign of women that just started taking accountability and doing different things and saying different things, that shows accountability, that shows empathy, that shows understanding of where they went wrong and what they have done that was wrong, that's when relationships will start healing. Okay? That's when relationships will start healing in this country. But until then, until that apology is just as deep and compassionate and with vigor as that accusation was against men, you're forever going to have the disconnect. Forever going to have the disconnect. And it's always going to be well, I'll take accountability when he takes accountability. Why don't you take accountability simply because it's the right thing to do? Why don't you just own your shit because it's simply the right thing to do? Why don't you say, I was wrong as a woman? Oh my God, the thought. Oh, just as a woman, I was wrong. Because if you don't, that means you don't want progress. And if you say you want progress and you don't take accountability for your toxic feminist ways, you don't really want progress. You want conditional progress, just like you want to love on condition. because you really don't want to love. You have women out here, grown ass women, that are saying, let's get married, but let's live in separate houses because I want to marry you and I want to be with you, but I don't need you that much. Now, if a man said that, all hell would break loose. If a man said, I want to marry a woman, but she can keep her house and she can just stay over there, and he outwardly said that he don't need her as much as he just wants to marry her and wants to have the title, a man would get roasted every which kind of way, from men and women. But when a woman says it, goes unchecked. Goes unchecked. Let me play another one.
When's the last time you told your man, I can't do this without you? When was the last time you actually told a man that this don't work without you? Before you, I was lost in this. But now with you, I feel like something's possible. See, women today, you're afraid to be vulnerable, and that's feminine. And see, modern women have become the men they dislike. You're not caring, you're uninterested, and you lack affection. And affection does not just mean sex. Men are innately tuned into women who try. Men need your love and affection. Men feel most loved by women in their lives who hug them, kiss them, smile at them, explicitly offer gratitude, praise, and words of affection. When's the last time you...
The same thing y'all women say y'all want from a man, y'all don't even give a man in return. The reciprocity and the lack of reciprocity, from women, the modern woman, is truly appalling. Oh, I played Kevin Samuels just to piss you off. Because a lot of y'all black women, especially modern women in this country, celebrated the day a black man died simply because you didn't like the way he was delivering the message. So yeah, I played it. I definitely did. Because his message in that particular clip was very important. So you want a man to say, I need you. I can't do this without you. You want that so it'll stroke your toxic feminist ego. You also want it because it's something that you really want to hear. But oh no, modern women of today, you don't want to say that to your man. You don't want to say that to your man. The stuff that you asked for that he described in that video is the same stuff that men actually want as well. Don't believe me? Ask him. Ask your man. Is that something you want? If you got one, ask him. If you're dating somebody, ask them. Is that something you want? Do you want me to court you like I want you to court me? Do you want me to pursue you like I want you to pursue me? Men want to feel like they're wanted. They want to feel valued. But the way that this modern society has innately enabled toxic women within their toxic femininity, you can't tell a woman to say, ask your man out on a date, or ask a man out on a date. Why? He got to pay for my food. He got to ask me on a date. You can't tell a toxic woman, hey, I'm going to see if you want to meet up for a coffee date at a coffee shop. What do I look like? That's giving broke vibes. I don't drink coffee. You also can't afford the place that you really want me to take you to because you really just want to go because you want a free meal. And your ass probably ain't eating at the house because you can't cook. You don't know how to make groceries either. Oh, we're going to call a thing today. We're going to call a thing today. Just like you choose them dusty ass men that real men have told you to stay away from. But for some reason, You chose this nigga anyway, but expected different results. But when we chose the wrong woman, and the same real men have told other men, hey, don't choose that woman, this is why, then we don't say anything when they get the results that they did not think they were going to get. The difference is everybody clowns that man for choosing the wrong person. But lo and behold, don't nobody say nothing to that woman for choosing the wrong man. We're living in a time where people know and don't care that they are going to be baby mama number 5 because it's been glamorized by Nick Cannon and other famous people who have multiple babies by multiple women. If you even look like you're about to start making money, they don't care if they baby mama number 5 or number 3. As long as you getting them to the bag. And before you try to rationalize and say, that's not all women, that's not all women, that's just a portion of us. That's what's being portrayed. And optics for some people is the reality. That's why the behavior continues. Because ain't nobody challenged the optics of what really is. And when we challenge the optics of what really is, there's so much pushback that some people just don't even say anything. Some people don't say anything. And that's okay. Bae, why are you roasting people today? LOL, giving people the truth I see. I'm giving the truth of really challenging the thought process of saying, why is it that toxic femininity is not talked about as much as toxic masculinity? You don't think, and I'm trying to get them to think, that they don't understand that this is something that just happens in this country? As if there's not toxic femininity running around out here. Just the fact that I'm sitting here calling it out alienates me as a man, especially a black man. Because black men, let alone other men in this country, we are not allowed, unspoken rule, we're not allowed to talk about toxic femininity. We're not allowed to cast judgment. We're not allowed to look upon and all this other stuff. We're not allowed. But yep, they're allowed to talk about toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity can get you likes and followers. Toxic masculinity, talking about it, pointing it out, can get you likes and followers. Talking about toxic femininity gets you about 2 people in your chat room watching your live video feed. Doesn't matter. I'm all right because the message is still the same. Toxic femininity exists. And until we start addressing toxic femininity as much as we need to continue addressing toxic masculinity, the disconnect will always be there. We need to have these difficult conversations. You're correct, truth show. Listen, I'm not bashing women over the head. I'm simply asking a question. How is it that you can justify talking about toxic masculinity without properly addressing on the same side toxic femininity as if the other does not exist, when we have been socialized not to do so? And we continue said socialization by demonizing men and women who try to combat the narrative that toxic femininity does not exist. Okay? Because you start to hate people like Kevin Samuels. You start to hate people like Dana Dane. You start to hate these panels of conversation and things like that simply because toxic Toxic femininity does not get you likes. It doesn't get you likes. It doesn't get you follows. It gets your life threatened. It gets your house doxxed. It gets you talked about. It gets you alienated. Yeah. Let's play one more. I got two more I'm going to play. I'm going to play one more. And then I'm going to go into another one.
But my question is, why is it the most power to the people, Hotep black men, never dating or marrying a monoracial black woman?
Because these men are typically not desirable by the average black woman until they start getting money and or attention. If you take any of these intelligence brothers, take away the fame, take away the money, and you saw them out in the street, what would you call them? Number one, majority of them ain't tall, with the exception of Dr. Umar and Brother Rizza Islam, both of them about 6'3", 6'4", respectively. The next one I can think about is Conscious Lee. He's 5'9". Y'all would say he's short, too little, not attractive. I would also argue the majority of these brothers were not tough guys. They were either nerdy acting and or nerdy looking. Overall, just not exciting men. And y'all need excitement. Y'all desire excitement. The average black woman will not accept the average black man. We're not enough. Or you typically do not desire to work with a black man. You either want a black man who you could fix, a black man who has it all, or you want another type of man in general. You're okay with the black man that you could fix because you're either trying to heal something with besides yourself, or you're building a man in the way that you want him to be. Therefore, it's a win-win for you. Or if you're going to date a black man, he better be perfect. He better be over 6'2". He better have a whole bunch of money. He better be hanging down to his knees, etc., etc. The perfect one. Or you'll date any other man outside the black man. You will accept the average white man, the average Hispanic. You would even accept the average woman before you accept the average black man. And I will make the argument that on average, the biracial woman will accept the black man because they are also connected with somebody who is not accepted by their own people.
But my question is,
I know that was a tough one for y'all to swallow. But the lady asked the question that why is it that the pro-black men, quote unquote, the Imhotep and all this other stuff, the Israelites, why some of them are not chasing after black women? And the guy was saying that because the average black man is not enough for the average or the modern day black woman in this country. And he's right. The average black man is not enough for the modern black woman in this country. Is that not a form of toxic feminism? Toxic femininity? To say that we have to be a certain height, damn near perfect, or broken enough so you can work on us just for you to accept us? Don't worry, because these toxic masculine men out here are saying that she has to have a certain kind of look for them to be accepted. She has to have a certain amount of followers for her to be accepted, which rules out and overlooks the real women who are working in different parts of this country, making a difference, not dealing with social media. So it's on both sides. But right now I'm just focusing on how, to most black men, we know that we're not enough for the modern black woman because we're not a project. We're not perfect in height, size, and money. And what he said that made sense and that really hit home was the black woman, the modern black woman, will date an average man in any other ethnic group and will accept an average man of any other ethnic group than to deal with the average black man in her own racial group. Don't believe me? Look at the before and after dating a black woman trend on TikTok and social media. They out here building black men because they don't have and quote unquote cannot find the black men they want in their own ethnic group. So they go out here to these other races and turn them into the black men that they want. They out here building a Negro. They out here building them. Look at the trend of the before I married a black woman, after I married a black woman. That's a trend. Look at that trend. And they take the average looking from any other ethnic group, and they will take them and turn them into what they want, but they won't do that for the average black man in their own ethnic group. And you mean to tell me that toxic femininity does not exist? But then you get mad when we get our passports and go overseas, and then you have a German woman who will go on social media and tell you that black women are no competition because they are not raised to be submissive and they're not raised to be wives. And other black women, the ones who really are thinking about what this German woman have just said, is like, yeah, she's right. Go look at the video. Google German woman says black women are not competition and look at that. And see if you see any lies in what that woman has said. She's telling them, black men, we love you in Germany. And to be honest, if you ask any other person as a black man who's either lived in Germany because of the military, grew up in Germany, or had a chance to visit Germany for a long period of time, those German women love Negroes. Love them, worship them, adore them, treat them like exactly how they want to be treated. Love who you love, but don't get mad at the messenger for what's being portrayed from this country to other countries when it comes to our women, especially black women. Don't shoot the messenger. These are tough conversations we need to have. Because we got to get rid of the stigmatism that the black man and the black woman cannot coexist. It's simply not true. Simply not true. The black man and the black woman can coexist as soon as the black woman and the black man can agree that that apology needs to have the same base as that accusation. As soon as black women take outwardly accountability, relationships will change. Relationships will change. Let me do one more.
Hear you articulating, Iyanla, this masculine energy traits, the competitiveness, the assertiveness. Tell me how you would frame feminine traits. Aggressive.
Grace.
Aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive, not assertive. It's okay for a woman to be assertive. Grace, first of all. I think we've lost our grace. We move in such a harsh and hard way. Grace, compassion, nurturing, nourishing, elegance. How about majesty? How about divinity? How about holiness? This is not a language you hear coming out of most women's mouths, but they'll talk about being a boss, being a diva, being, in charge. And many of us are either not seated in our throne as queens, or we're in the throne and the crown is crooked. Meaning we're in the throne and we don't really know how to hold that place without the masculine aggressiveness and demanding and attachment. And it's killing us. It really is.
So in a recent interview with our dear friends over at the Breakfast Club, that went very viral for very good reason, you said that women are being trained to be men in skirts. I will acknowledge, I will say I was triggered. I was a hit dog, and I hollered to the entire production team to get you here today, because I actually think you're right. I think you're right, Iyanla. I do think that I'll just speak for myself vulnerably. When I think of a masculine posture and what I would expect a man to do in my life, two things come top of mind, and they are provide and they are protect. And when my lived experience, and I think I'm still relatively young, I guess, but I'm 40 in September. So, you know, I've had some relationships. And I've yet to find a man who has shown, I mean, this includes even my father, who was absent. I've yet to have a male energy that provided or protected me consistently ever. So I think that I have taken on the reins to protect and provide for myself, because what I'm not going to do, Iyanla, is be without. Baby, it's not happening.
Be without what?
So that
Be
would
without what?
be without protection, be without protection, and be without the necessities of life.
Okay.
But I say that with an invitation, Iyanla, check me. Show me the error of my ways. Tell me how I might be missing it, because I might be.
Okay. I too am an alpha woman. So I understand what that means. And I tell people all the time, I was a horrible mother. I was a horrible mother. I was a great father. And I was a horrible mother because I had never been mothered. So I didn't know how to affirm, how to nurture, how to nourish, how to guide. I knew how to direct, how to demand, how to discipline, and like you said, provide and protect. Those are masculine energies. And the distinction here is men build, women create. So we know how to build. We know how to get to the external and get the work done and drive and push and do it. We don't know how to be still, create it, and allow it to come to us. And I learned that when I lost everything. I learned how to create because I had already built and it all crumbled. The house, the husband, the job, the contracts, the professional career in the world, stripped of it all the attachments, the necessities of life, the creature comforts, until I was stripped down to the bare bone. And then I had to learn how not to build. Build is external. Create is internal. And we as women have the power to create and attract anything we desire. But we don't get still. We won't shut up. And we manage everything through fear, control, and survival.
Cook.
As opposed to feeling, knowing, and blooming or flourishing. Complete different thing. But since we've never been trained, we haven't been trained, we haven't been taught. So we do it the way we were taught to do it, which is very masculine in nature.
And very external. I feel that you are describing me to a T, Ms. Iyanla. Now, is this why you are conducting a rites of passage program so that women, all of Black women in particular, can learn to create?
Women, so that we can learn our authentic power, that we can learn the distinction between a powerful woman and a woman in her power. There's a distinction, but there are skills and tools and practices and processes that we have to learn. At every age, the 20s have a process, the 30s have a process, the 40s have a 50, 60. We each have a process. And if you don't learn your 20 process, you're going to be doing it at 50. If you don't complete your 30 process, you're going to be doing it at 60. And that means you'll be running on overdrive instead of seated in your power. Yes. And the secrets are there. They come from our culture. They come from our history, but no one has taught us. So me, as a descendant of Africans and Native Americans, I have a very lovely blend and mix. And I just, for a long time, I didn't do it because women in general, they don't want to hear. They think their way is right. And I'm crazy when I say, sit down, shut up, and listen, and you can create what you want. They don't want to hear that.
Y'all, she's talking.
Shit. That woman be cooking so much, I just sit down and get a plate. I just sit down and get a plate. I just sit down and get a plate. So much was said. So much was needed to be said. And even when that beautiful soul who has had it all and lost it all, when she tells Black women, she gets pushed back. When she tells Black women or women in general that your crown is crooked, you need to pull away from your masculinity. You need to operate within your femininity. You need to sit down and shut up. She gets pushed back. And we wonder why. We wonder why. This has been a fun show. I'm not sugarcoating and not having tough conversations. Fellas, your time is next. Because the conversation I'm about to have on you fellas, we're going to have to get to it. We're going to have to start defining some things. I'm about to cook y'all. I'm about to cook y'all. Tough conversation. Don't shoot the messenger. Just know that I come from a place of love because this is just surface level. You don't understand the power of the unity that they are afraid of. Why do you think they're pushing hypersexualization and individuality to women? They ain't said nothing about men. The only thing they're trying to do with men is emasculate us, feminize us, because they need us out of the way. You can't ask for protection from a man if you've been protecting yourself as a woman, because you don't know what protection from a man looks like. When it comes your way, you resist. But then your mother, your grandmother, or somebody you care about who is a woman has told you, baby girl, this is what protection from a man looks like. And you're so caught up in trying to protect yourself from a feminist or feminist standpoint, you don't understand that you're lacking protection still. Men don't understand that when you act with your emotions first, you lose the logical capabilities to convey to your woman or your wife or your girlfriend how what you are saying makes logical sense. Then she thinks that, well, both of us can't be emotional. And then she goes find another man. You have to be on your purpose. You have to have a goal. You have to be driven. And you have to be at a point where she knows that you will choose your purpose for her over her. Let me say that again. She knows that not even she can come between your purpose, but you are choosing your purpose for her. Both sides, our crowns are crooked. Your grandmothers and grandfathers had way less, but accomplished way more. And here it is, we have all the information at our fingertips, and yet and still we have managed to accomplish so little. Where you at, black man? Where you at? Where you at, black woman? Where's your essence? Where's your crown? You're not a queen. You're still a queen in training because nobody trained you. You're still stuck at 12, 13, or whenever there is the last time that you were vulnerable and it cost you. That's why you start acting in your masculinity. But yet and still you want to call yourself a queen? No. No. Where you at, black man? You've never been challenged. You've never been put through the ringer to the point where you have come out on the other side. You folded. You folded. You've become feminized. And you wonder why the black woman or the modern woman in this time doesn't respect you. Because in some cases, she's more masculine than you are. We're going to talk about it today. I ain't going to take time to cook you, black man, just not, or modern man in America. I ain't going to cook you just yet. But I'm going to cook you next week. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm challenging your perception, not you. When my wife and I come on this podcast and we do our thing, we're challenging your current perception and your current socialization of what you have been taught or led to believe. And if what you have led to believe was really working, you would not have the problems and situations that you currently face. So we're challenging that. That's what this is. This is a constant challenge of your perception. You may be right. And if you're right, then you're aligned with the results that support your theory or your perception or your point of view or your thought process. You would have the results that you say you have if you were right. Obviously, you're not, because the numbers say in this country a very different story. I'm going to leave you with this. The great Smokey Robinson, hope they do a bio on this guy when he goes to see Jesus and them. We're going to let him cook. I ain't going to talk too long. And after this, I am out. But y'all pay attention, because this is important.
Smokey Robinson, Def Poetry Jam, please take the time to listen to this. Hear the message. Don't just listen to it. Hear the message. Let's go ahead and get straight to it.
I love being black. I love being called black. I love being an American. I love being a black American. But as a black man in this country, I think it's a shame that every few years we get a change of name. Since those first ships arrived here from Africa that came across the sea, there were already black men in this country who were free. And as for those who came over on those terrible boats, they were called nigger and slave and told what to do and how to behave. And then Master started tripping, doing his midnight tipping down to the slave shacks where he forced he and great-great-grandma to be together. And if great-great-grandpa protested, he got tarred and feathered. And at the same time, the black men in the country who were free were mating with the tribes like the Apache and the Cherokee. And as a result of all that, we're a parade of every shade. And in this late day and age, you can be sure there ain't too many of us in this country whose bloodline is pure. But according to a geographical genealogy study published in Time magazine, the black African people were the first on the scene. So for what it's worth, the black African people were the first on earth, and through migration, our characteristics started to change and rearrange to adapt to whatever climate we migrated to. And that's how I became me and you became you. So if we're gonna go back, let's go all the way back. And if Adam was black and Eve was black, then that kind of makes it a natural fact that everybody in America is an African American. Everybody in Europe is an African European. Everybody in the Orient is an African Asian, and so on and so on. That is, if the origin of man is what we're going to go on. And if one drop of black blood makes you black like they say, then everybody's black anyway. So quit trying to change my identity. I'm already who I was meant to be. I'm a black American born and raised. And Brother James Brown wrote a wonderful phrase. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Because I'm proud to be black. And I ain't never lived in Africa. And because my great-great-granddaddy on my daddy's side did, don't mean I want to go back. Now, I have nothing against Africa. It's where some of the most beautiful places and people in the world are found. But I've been blessed to go a lot of places in this world. And if you ask me where I choose to live, I pick America, hands down. Now, by and by, we were called Negroes. And after a while, that name was banished. Anyway, Negro is just how you say black in Spanish. Then we were called colored. But shit, everybody's one color or another, and I think it's a shame that we hold that against each other. And it seems like we reverted back to a time when being called black was an insult, even if it was another black man who said that a fight would result, because we've been so brainwashed that black was wrong till even the yellow niggas and the black niggas couldn't get along. But then came the 1960s, when we struggled and died to be called equal and black, and we walked with pride with our heads held high and our shoulders pushed back, and black was beautiful. But I guess that wasn't good enough, because now here they come with some other stuff. Who comes up with this shit anyway? Was it one or a group of niggas just sitting around one day? Feeling a little insecure again about being called black and decided that African American sounded a little more exotic. Well, I think you were being a little more neurotic. It's that same mentality that got Amos and Andy put off there because they were embarrassed about the way the characters spoke. And as a result of that action, a lot of wonderful black actors ended up broke when we were just laughing and having fun about ourselves. So I say, fuck you if you can't take a joke. You didn't see the Beverly Hillbillies being protested by white folks. And if you think that, of course you think that being called African American sets all black people's minds at ease, since we affectionately call each other nigga, I affectionately say to you, nigga, please. How come I didn't get a chance to vote on who I'd like to be? Who gave you the right to make that decision for me? I ain't under your rule or in your dominion, and I'm entitled to my own opinion. Now, there are some African Americans here, but they recently moved here from places like Kenya, Ethiopia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Zaire. But not a brother whose family's lived in this country for generations, occupying space in all the locations, New York, Miami, LA, Detroit, Chicago, even if he's wearing a dashiki and sporting an afro. And if you go to Africa in search of your race, you'll find out quick, you're not an African American. You're just a black American in Africa taking up space. Why you keep trying to attach yourself to a continent where even if you got the chance to go and you went, most people that wouldn't even claim you as one of them, as a purebred daughter or son of them. Your heritage is right here now, no matter what you call yourself or what you say. And a lot of people died to make it that way. And if you think America's the leader on inequality and suffering and grieving, how come there's so many people coming and so few leaving? Rather than all this fine thought with America shit you promoting, if you want to change something, use your privilege. Get to the polls, come and support them. God knows we've earned the right to be called American Americans and be free at last. And rather than you moving forward with progress, you're dwelling in the past. We struggled too long, we've come too far. And so the folks that know who we were, let's be proud of who we are. We're the only people whose name is always a trend. When is this shit gonna end? Look at all the different colors of our skin. Black is not our color, it's our core. It's what we've been living and fighting and dying for. But if you choose to be called African American and that's your preference, then I'll give you that reference. But I know on this issue I don't stand alone on my own. And if I do, then let me be me. And I'd appreciate it if when you see me, you say, there goes a man who says it loud. I'm black, I'm black. I'm a black American and I'm proud because I love being an American. And I love being black. I love being called black. Yeah, I said it and I don't take it back.
I'm going baseline, highlights. Can't slow me down, I'm too busy living my life. I put my face on the clock because it's my time. Rapper think he's seeing me, he better get his mind right. I'm going baseline, highlights. I got my grind right now, I got my shine right. I'm with my team and I'm feeling like it's my night. Better cuff your girl cause she looking like she my type. Okay, my fingers itching for that paper. Up before the sunrise, nigga, I can't wait on flavors. Go and hit my knees, say a prayer to my maker. Look up in the mirror, check, I'm sharp as a razor. I'm riding to my anthem, I just gotta get it. Them bucks on my